as much fun as it would be to see Jake Bobo the Clown be their wide receiver 3, I don't know if
That's
he's
rude.
gonna
That's
be
rude.
And wherever he goes, whoop, he's a 5-target guy without Mac Jones, is what I'm saying. That's
Shanahan traded 3 first-round picks for Mac Jones.
back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Sights and sounds and edges found. You will now get down with the Underground, the show that goes to the depths of the Dynasty landscape. Dynasty Underground is back. I am Trav, hosting and West Coastin', joining you from, of course, the Undroppables YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe there. And with me tonight, the wise man, one Jax Falcone. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Can't wait to start the show. I assume we're just going to be talking rookies all day today. Is that it?
I hate to burst your bubble, my friend, but tonight it is our final free agency reactions. There were some big names that did come off the list this past week and some names that are still left on the list, Jax. So I felt like this week would be really good for us to kind of polish off that free agency since we did some last week. And then we're getting back into the rookies starting next week.
I know we're
and
going to
into
do
the
free
draft.
agency. I know we're going to do free agency. I'm going to just try and like fold in a rookie in every, in as many conversations as I can, like Easter eggs for the listeners.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. And on the other side, in the corner office with the view, Mr. Joquavius Kuvatakis. What's going on, brother?
Speaking of Easter eggs, good, man. I gotta say, all weekend I was working on taxes and looking at spreadsheets that were not very fun. And I am happy once again to be born again as a virgin, looking at fantasy football spreadsheets, talking to you, fine gentlemen.
Welcome back to the house of basement virginity, sir. Like I said, Undroppables YouTube channel and at the Undroppables on the social media. Please go check us out there. We got a lot of cool stuff. And our Discord is now free, gentlemen. It has been fantastic to see since last Thursday or Friday, I believe. We opened up the Discord to the masses, and I think we've got over 100 new people in there since then. Lots of conversation happening. The team is excited about it. Seems like the people in there are excited about it. So if you haven't seen that, go check out our social media on Instagram. There's a link in our bio, undroppables.start.page. And then on Twitter, it is posted at the top of our Twitter page there, or X page there. So please go check it out. It's lots of fun conversation with fantasy football. It's free to join, and you can chat with us and a bunch of other people who are like-minded. But guys, I said it. We're going to wrap up this free agency period here. We are all itching to get back into these rookies because that's kind of where our hearts lie at this time of the season. But there is some big stuff happening, and I think some of it does impact some of the potential landing spots for some of the rookies that we're itching to talk about. So let's get into it, guys. The biggest news that's kind of sweeping the nation over the last few days.
I can't, Trav. I gotta stop you.
Okay.
We gotta talk about rookies, bro. I'm sorry. It's been a couple of weeks. Jax wants to. I want to. We've had some pro days. Let me talk about some rookies. I
was trying to hold you back.
Oh, let's get what they want. I don't want this to like fall to the end of the show and then just we yada it. All right, the people need to know.
Okay, so tell me about.
I'm taking over. I'm hosting.
Okay, tell me.
Get him.
All right.
Giving you the reins.
2 weeks ago on our mock draft, I talked about how much I wanted to talk to Samson. I got to tell you, call Dave Chappelle. Tell him I quit smoking weed. I no longer want to talk to Samson. His pro day was disappointing. He weighed in at the combine at 200 pounds, and we joked like, he didn't run a 40. I think he's going to run the 4.3, so it's probably not going to matter, but like he's right on the cusp. He really needs to be fast. So at his pro day, there was a wide range of speeds, somewhere from 4.43 to 4.48, right? So we, as a process play, need to add 0.04 or 0.05 seconds to those speeds because the hand time stuff is not as good as the laser stuff. and the
Yep.
video stuff that they do at the combine. So best case scenario for Samson at 200 pounds is a 100 speed score. That barely meets the threshold of what we're looking at. Worst case scenario is like a 95 speed score, which is at his weight, kind of a red flag. So as excited as I was about him, we got to drop him down the ranks a little bit. Jax, anything to add to that?
Well, I think there was. I mean, we talked to Debro, Derek Brown, on the Undrafted show, and he had mentioned that he was not exactly a huge Dylan Sampson fan. He didn't see it. I thought that was interesting, and some of this stuff where people said he was going to just blaze and he's super fast, that doesn't show up on film either, or at least not in the data that I see. According to Derek Brown, it didn't show up in the film. And when he mentioned that it didn't, I shared that he didn't have a very good 15-yard run rate, and he also didn't have a very good 10-yard to 15-yard run rate. So he wasn't converting 10-yard runs into 15-yard runs. He wasn't making big plays. He only has 40 career receptions. He's only 8.6 yards per catch for his career. Yeah, man, I'm not that excited about Dylan Sampson. His broken tackles, missed tackles force per rush are good, not great. Like, he's just kind of good. I'm not sure he's great. And for that, I think he's fine. But yeah, I'm not getting too excited for Dylan Sampson. Like you said, a lot of people said, oh, he's way faster and way better than Jalen Wright. I'm not sure that's correct.
I think so too, especially in that offense. I had him in like somewhere in the 6 to 8 range. Now I think he's probably in like the 8 to 12 range, and I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to land with him, but it was a big downgrade. Everyone was talking about this 4.43 or 4.48 like it was some great number. No, we were expecting 4.3. He's got too many other flaws to not be blazing at that weight. All right, another one is
hold on. I just wanted to come in off of your Samson comment and say I wonder if Dylan might come out after all of this and say that the doctor says I need a backiotomy. I don't know. Just had to get that in before you moved on, Joe. Been holding that since you said Samson.
Great.
Thank you. Carry on.
It's good.
By the way, I had Dylan Sampson as my RB11 heading in. So, I think that's maybe, a little bit of just being unsure because I had guys like, Harvey, Scattaboo, Giddens, Devin Neal, and Bashal Tootin ahead of him. I think that's fair, right? I mean, I don't know that he's that much. He doesn't have a very good claim to be ahead of those guys for sure, right?
Not anymore.
I got him at 13.
Yeah.
That's probably fair too.
That's probably right. All right, the other one,
Brashard Smith. Yeah. I mean, the way that Derek was talking about Brashard Smith on the pod, like at least he has receiving utility. Like he's like a legit weapon out of the backfield and was really, really effective on 10 to 15-yard runs and, really explosive and really fast, right? Did run a 4.3 something at the combine, 4.39, I think.
Yep,
so, all that, maybe Brashard Smith is just straight up better than Dylan Sampson. Like certainly I'm open to all of that, right?
More ways to succeed, I think, for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I mean, where he is basically is we joke that he weighed in at 200 at the combine, which means he's not usually that weight, and he didn't run that day, right? So he's probably in the 190s typically,
right.
which means he's kind of now in like best case scenario, a Bucky Irving type. Yeah, not the Bucky Irving speed score was still lower than what Sampson's was, right? He's still at a 95. Bucky was sub 90, so it was very alarming. But like that's the bucket of players he's in now. All right, the other one I want to talk about is LaQuint Allen. Dude only did positional drills at his pro day. He did not run a 40 at the combine, and he did not run a 40 at his pro day. That's weak. Right? You're 204 pounds. We need to know how fast you are. So people were talking about him as kind of the sleeper, this guy we like, receiving back, third down back, whatever. I'm disinterested until like 4th round or later now on guys like LaQuint Allen. Like I need to know. And, his burst score wasn't that great. His weight's not great. You got to give me something, right? The other one I wanted to talk about was Jaquindon Jackson. Not like he was super high on anyone's list anyways, but he ran a very dismal 4.75 at his pro day, so call it a 4.8. That puts him at an 86 speed score. Now he's 229 pounds, but that's still just probably not cutting it, right? For comparison, our boy Ollie Gordon at roughly the same weight has a 100 speed score. So, granted, Ollie's obviously a much more highly touted prospect, but as far as the running backs, I think those were kind of the important ones. On tight ends, there's one pretty noteworthy one. Well, three, really, four that I care about, right? There's Elijah Arroyo. His pro day is on March 24th, so look out for that in the next week. As is Colson Loveland's. I'm not sure what he's doing. As is Luke Lachey's, our boy from 98 Degrees.
That's
We
right.
want to see what he runs. But Oronde Gadsden Jr. had his pro day. He ran a 4.64, which is pretty damn good
Not
for a tight
bad.
end. So he's pretty interesting. We obviously don't have like his 10-yard splits, his 20-yard splits. We don't have a shuttle, all of that. So it's hard to get like a real RAS score, but just adding that 40 time gets him to like a 7.75. So he's kind of like on the cusp of the athleticism that we're looking for. I'd say that probably keeps him in the same range, but that's the requisite sort of speed. I'm probably burying the lead here because the thing that's caught the most headlines is Tedoroa McMillan.
Yeah.
He ran a
4.29. 4.29. 4.29 is what he ran.
No.
I hand timed it. It was pretty quick. He's
Did
good.
you? Okay. Yeah, Jack
I hand
Falcone
timed it.
stamped. Yeah.
No.
Yep.
I have him at a 4.53, which I believe means he actually ran a 4.48, or was clocked
No.
as fast.
There's been
4.48.
He was clocked at 4.8.
Yeah.
I saw.
4.8. No, but there's been some different
4.48.
answers to the. But look, that was the lowest number we saw. I saw a lot of people, Albert Breer, and like a lot of people were saying it was like 4.53 there. So I think, look, I think 4.53 is generous if we give that to him. I think we're probably going to be looking at something. Look, they'll probably do the thing where they like fucking slow down the film and do the thing and tell us what it really was or whatever. But either way, I think what it comes down to is he's not slow, he's not fast, just like we thought. It's kind of like the Trey Harris thing where Trey Harris ran the 4.54. You're like, okay, he's Trey Harris fast, which is plenty fast
Good
enough
enough for his size. Yeah, good
Not
enough.
only that, I saved it for last, even though it's gotten the most attention, because we care the least about this at wide receiver unless they're really slow.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. I got it out of the way. There's more pro days to come, so I'm sure we'll touch on it, in the coming episodes. But this is something I've been thinking about in my Virgin spreadsheets.
Back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Is that are we okay to do that? Your hostness? Is that okay?
Yes. No, you can resume hosting. I just wasn't gonna let the people go another week without rookie talk.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
They don't
Yeah,
deserve
that's cool. That's cool. Just trying to run a tight ship over here. It's all good, boys. Yep. It's cool. Yeah, it's cool. I actually love that you did that, Joe. That was a nice little just detour from what we were going with, and I got to sit back and just have a nice little chuckle behind it. So I appreciate you taking us on that journey. But we're gonna bring the
R.I.P.
tone
Samson.
back. Yeah, R.I.P. Samson. Coming back to the NFL, guys, the fellas that I was going to talk about in free agency were the ones who have been kind of sweeping the headlines on the NFL side the last few days, and that was a pair of wide receivers in Cincinnati. That was one Jamar Chase, who got a brand new contract, 4 years, 161 million, 40.25 per. T. Higgins got 28.75 per as well. Both top 10 figures all time for wide receivers, which is incredible. I don't think this really changes anything for me necessarily. It just cements Cincinnati as an offense that we want to attach to. Maybe it makes us less hesitant to attach T. Higgins, knowing that he's locked up with Joe Burrow. So maybe T. Higgins bumps up in the dynasty rankings with that level of certainty. But I wonder, Jax, do you have any different takeaways there? Excited about the move, kind of thought this was coming. What do you think?
Felt inevitable. I mean, once they didn't like let him walk, once they didn't try and trade him, once they didn't do any of that stuff, you knew this was what it was, that they were going to say, hey, look, we've got something special in this trio. Why fuck it up? Like, and I think that's smart. Like, I mean, I guess you're going to have to spend your money somewhere. it seems like why not just keep the thing that you're really good at, which is this passing game, this passing attack with I was going to ask, I've got Matt Kelly on the show tomorrow, which would be fun. I was going to ask him, is Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase the best stack in fantasy football? I think that's unequivocally yes.
I think so for sure.
Right?
It's
Because I
gettable
mean,
in best ball too. It's gettable for sure.
the neighbors, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson don't have a quarterback attached to him. Puka, Brian Thomas Jr., right? You should go down the list. This is the best stack in fantasy football. Almost not close. I hate saying that because it sounds so lame. And it's not close.
Yeah.
But it's not, I don't think, right? So it's a really dope stack. And then you can add T. Higgins to that. Wow. In Dynasty, if you're holding something like this, you feel really, really good. And, I don't know exactly how much ceiling T. Higgins has without a Jamar Chase injury. I think it's a great floor, but not a great ceiling. Maybe a weekly ceiling, but he hasn't seen a ton of targets. He's been about 20% target rate, for his career. So not awesome, but good enough in that offense.
Especially the way he produces, right? Like
Yep.
you would love to see him with 130 targets, but I think T. Higgins with 110 targets is a fantastic wide receiver 2 on your team. And
Yep.
he's going to give you some winning weeks, right? There's going to be weeks where he's the recipient of those 3 touchdowns from Joe Burrow or whatever, where Jamar Chase maybe isn't. So I think that's a guy that I'm ready to stamp at least as like a top 15 dynasty wide receiver right now. I don't have the number exactly. I haven't adjusted since. But Joe, what's your stance on it? Do you think that's kind of the right take?
Yes, I do. I have a speaking of takes and speaking of half baked, I would like to introduce a new segment to the show.
Oh,
I was thinking about this after I
Joe's on
saw
fire.
he
that
is taking liberties today.
that they that they signed both of these guys. They've also obviously got Burrow signed to a big contract. And so, the talking heads all get on TV or on the radio and they say these things like, oh, the salary cap, what are they going to do about their defense? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, do we want them to have a good defense? So here's my new segment called Half Take. Higgins and Chase and Burrow are all undervalued in Dynasty because we know that their contracts ensure that their defense is going to
Great,
suck for years to come.
great
They
take.
are going to have to score. We are going to need Joe Burrow to be airing it out. There's a joke in the GFL, which is one of my keeper leagues. Shout out GFL for keeps. It's kind of like a Devi keeper league. I don't know how to describe this league, but the winning Super Bowl team has had Joe Burrow for like 4 years in a row, and yeah, he moves teams. But like even the year he was hurt and missed the second half of the season, like one of the playoff teams just added him for the luck of having Joe Burrow on their team. Right? But the larger point is every December he crushes, and T. Higgins, who I have in that league, crushes, and Jamar Chase crushes. And that's going to continue to be the case for like years to come because their defense is a sure thing to be horrible. I'm not sure I believe this, which is why it's called half taked, and because we talked about half baked. But here, there you go. That's my
I
half
like it.
take.
I like it. It's a good half take.
It's great.
And
I like it a
obviously
lot.
Burrow's
Yeah.
expensive. Obviously Chase is expensive, but I think Higgins is out there and gettable, and I think he's kind of a trade target on this half take.
Mm-hmm. I could get down with that. I actually already had him at wide receiver 14 in Dynasty before this news. So I think that's just cemented. And as I look at my best ball ranks, which is my closest to like 2025 ranks for the next season, I've got him right in that kind of 14, 15 area. So yeah, expecting big things. And I think there's room for upward movement off of that 14 rank, right? It's not only downward.
What about Garrett Wilson for T. Higgins plus a little? I bet you that's there for you.
I think I
Yeah.
like that. There's going to be some
I'll do
turmoil
that.
over the next few years for Garrett Wilson. So I definitely would do
I don't think
that.
you can get much on top, to be honest with you, because there's a little bit of Garrett Wilson hesitation right now.
And
But I think,
shine the other way. Yeah.
but I think if someone were like, if you said like, hey, Garrett Wilson and you give me T. Higgins and a second and a future third, and they'd be like, I think that's a good trade. And it's just a little bit on top, but I think they're pretty close. I mean, I've got Garrett Wilson at, wide receiver 12 and T. Higgins at wide receiver 16. So I'm not too upset about that.
Yep. I like that, fellas. Okay, so we are going to talk about another big signing. Lots of movement for the Seattle Seahawks. And the next piece of movement came by way of signing one Cooper Kupp to a 3-year, $45 million deal. He's going home to the state of Washington. I saw a lot of people kind of questioning them spending this money on him. I think 15 million per for Cooper Kupp, who I don't think is washed, is totally fine. People are acting like he's basically dead. I don't think he's necessarily that. I think the concern for me is more so the amalgamation of roles between him and Jackson Smith and Jigba. But Joe, I have a feeling that we're all going to have that same kind of mind about this move. So what do you think about the Cooper Kupp move to Seattle with JSN and Sam Darnold?
Can we take a quick victory lap? Because we actually called that on this program when Cooper Kupp announced he was becoming a free agent. We didn't even know he was from Seattle, but I
Yeah,
was like,
that's right. We had to
I
look it
bet
up.
I bet Cooper Kupp's going home. Wherever home is, I think that's where he's going. And sure enough, he signs with his home team, Seahawks.
Yeah.
Uh, I think this is listen, they needed another wide receiver. I think this is like the best possible guy to add for Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to a Clint Kubiak scheme now, part of the, Mike Shanahan tree, which, treats its X receivers or its number one receivers, I should say, because it's not really a true X role, in a certain way where they have them run like deep crosses and deep slants, and they isolate the quarterback, the wide receiver, and they have the quarterback roll out and throw it deep to these guys, which is probably why they went to Darnold from Geno Smith, because he's a better fit, kind of like, I don't know, the Jake Plummer variety, something like that. So, just guys that fit this scheme, and JSN is probably like the prototype of what you look for and types of routes he wins. So this is great for him. And I think Kupp is moving into the slot, and JSN is going to be the queen chess piece on that team.
That's kind of what I think too. Like, I don't know. I think Jax might think a little bit different. So I'm going to throw to him first and then I'll come in after that because he's shaking his noggin right now.
Yuck. This, first of all, I don't think Kupp is washed. I've got something for you.
I don't think he's washed either. I think he's a great number two.
Maybe he was never there, because let me just give you something. Outside of his Triple Crown season, where he saw like 278 targets, I believe was the number, some crazy number. Outside of that season, in all of his seasons, he's only eclipsed 870 yards twice. He averages in those seasons 832 yards and less than 6 touchdowns per season. What exactly is Cooper Kupp? Outside of the Triple Crown dominant season, he's never really been very good. I mean, he's not that good. They let him go at the very same age they brought in Devontae Adams. If they thought he was good, they would have kept him. The relationship, the whole thing, he was injured. I think it's an awful signing for everybody involved, except for Cooper Kupp, who gets 3 years, $45 million, which probably he won't see all of it because they're going to cut his ass after a year or two. And he plays the exact same position as JSN. I think if it takes JSN out of the slot and moves Cooper Kupp's old ass into that spot, and he's out targeting the more efficient, more prolific player, then this is awful for everybody. So yeah, I've got the opposite opinion here, and I'm not sure about the offensive line. I'm not sure about the quarterback. I'm not sure about a lot of things there. So for me, color me skeptical that this is going to work out for anybody, especially considering they brought in a slot player when they already had exactly only a slot player.
Oh, yeah. So I disagree. Think about what a Kubiak offense typically looks like, right? Play action rollouts is the first thing that comes to mind. Also, think about the role JSN took on when Metcalf was out last year. We started for the first time seeing him get deep targets. And what we learned is that he's good at those. His success rate was actually higher than DK's. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I looked into it. He was better deep in terms of completion percentage than DK was. Yeah. So I think like moving JSN out there is actually good. He's, more flanker, less slot, and Cooper Kupp's going from less flanker, more slot in this new role on this team. Now they still need another receiver, and I'm sure they're going to address that somehow. I don't think it's going to be Jake Bobo, But I
Yeah.
think the signal here is JSN is the main target, and Cooper Kupp is kind of going into, the next phase of his career, which is, I don't
Should
know,
be
like
retirement.
Adam Thielen plus. That's
Wow,
still
Jack.
useful. Yeah,
Come
come
on.
on, dude. Kupp's not dead. He's not dead. He's
No,
just
man.
better
He's
suited
been
for the slot.
injured. He's been injured. He's oft injured. I'll give you
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
He's
And not only
not
that,
bad.
we saw a flip last year where Puka Nakua started taking more of the Cooper Kupp role, and Cooper Kupp moved into the slot like 60% of the time last year on the Rams. I think that's probably going to continue on the Seahawks, and I think that's the role he's going to play here.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting because I was looking at them adding another wide receiver, and I think they probably do. As much fun as it would be to see Jake Bobo the clown be their wide receiver 3, I don't know if
That's
he's
rude.
going to be
That's
that.
rude.
Well, dude, it's
Don't disrespect my
natural.
Bruins. Come on, dude.
Sorry.
Bobo's an elite separator, even though he's
All right.
slow.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. But I was looking at it, and the Seahawks last year had the second most dropbacks with 3 or more wide receivers on the field. Clint Kubiak last year as the offensive coordinator for Minnesota, 19th in that category with 3+ wide receivers. In New Orleans the year before, coincidentally, also 19th in that category. So I think this is actually going to turn into a bit more of a target funnel between these two guys, where I'm not necessarily going to be worried about the volume for either of them. I think it's going to be both of them pretty heavily targeted. And Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to be the guy who kicks out wide. And so he can win downfield. But if you look at last year, he did not succeed when he was lined up out wide. He only ran 88 routes from there. But in 2023, 139 routes from out wide, 37 receptions on 46 targets, 0.33 targets per route run, 6th best amongst all wide receivers with at least 15 targets from out wide. He was top 10. 2.57 yards per route run from out wide, 18th best. So I think what it's going to be is Clint Kubiak's going to have to use him that way and use him downfield from out wide a little bit more, because Cooper Kupp is probably going to be the 60 in the 60-40 of those slot targets. But I'm pretty excited for Jackson Smith and Jigba, because
Me
I
too.
think their defense is going to be pretty bad as well. And I do think he's going to get more downfield shots, some of them coming via wide alignments.
Over the last 2 years, Adam Thielen has outproduced Cooper Kupp on a per game basis. So let's not get to Cooper Kupp light. Maybe it's Adam Thielen light, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Wow, Jax.
I'm just being honest, man. Look at the numbers.
Yeah, but I think the
dude,
context around the numbers kind of tells a little bit of that picture, right?
does it?
Yeah, he missed a lot of games, and obviously that is a
Context is we
knock.
think he's good. That's the context. The
We've
context is
seen
he
him
had
be
a
good,
triple
though.
crown season.
We've
We've
seen him
seen
be good.
him. He's a great player. I'm just saying he is not giving you what you want for the name brand
Fair.
value
Fair.
that you have paid for ever, except once. That's all I'm saying. That's
Yeah,
all
and
I'm
you're
saying.
not getting that again. You're gonna let me
You're never
be
getting
clear.
that
You're
again.
not getting that again. But I think he could give you 1,000 yards, and like he's never
Be
gonna
the
be
first
another 10
time in
touchdown guy
a
though.
long time. Yeah.
But he'll be a wide receiver 2-3 fence guy, and I think that's
I'll bet
just
you
the new
$100 he doesn't
expectation.
get to 1,000 yards. I'll bet you $100 he doesn't get to 900 yards. How's that?
Jax is hurting feelings over here.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I'm
$100.
taking that bet. I don't think I'm
There
taking
we
that
go.
bet.
So
It's too
yeah. So
dicey. Too dicey.
I think we know
You
what
see
we
where we
really think.
stand. You see where
Yeah,
we stand. Yeah, yeah,
Ken Walker and JSN wheels up.
for sure.
yeah.
Half take.
100%. Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, guys. The rest of the moves are definitely not as high profile as these ones, but interesting things to talk about, especially the impact to the other players on the teams around them. Next one being Nuke Hopkins signing with the Baltimore Ravens. Kind of hate this. I understand it. He's chasing a ring. I think they've probably been linked to him in free agency and trade talks in the past as well. Just kind of some of those rumblings that I recall. But I don't really love this team or this for the Baltimore Ravens. They did run a lot of 3 wide receiver sets, kind of like I mentioned with Seattle. Baltimore was they ran the fewest 3 or more wide receiver sets by a lot. Sorry.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I don't like
a lot
that.
of fullback and extra tight end. By the way,
Right.
this is funny. I'm in a league and I swear that I was not bullshitting. This guy sends me an offer and he's got DeAndre Hopkins in it. And I literally text back or DM back. I'm like, Hopkins retired, bro. And I thought he had retired. Didn't he retire? I was like, I think he retired.
I don't know.
And he's like, whoa, bro, I've been out a while. I missed that news. And I was like, and then he signs with Baltimore like a couple days later. I'm like, nah, that's fucking fine. He didn't retire. But I think I was right. is what I'm going to say. I think I was right. He's
Fair
retired.
enough. Fair enough. Yeah, low upside.
They paid him less than Tutu Atwell got paid, you
Half as
know?
much as
That
Tutu
Mhm.
Atwell.
yeah. So that's what you need to know. All right.
Yeah.
He got paid wide receiver 4 money, and
Yep.
he's probably a number 5 in the target pecking order on this team, behind the 2 tight ends, behind Bateman, and behind Zay.
Hopefully
So
behind Bateman.
Bro,
Hopefully
he's a
behind
in
Bateman.
I
case
think
of
he's gonna.
emergency break glass player, right?
Yeah.
Like playoff run, like if we really need him. He's not a run a million like he just can't be DeAndre Hopkins on that team. They're not going to run a DeAndre Hopkins offense. It's a Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson offense that he's going to be in. And in those situations where it's like, well, we need one of those guys. We've got one of those guys, you know, a guy who can just go up and velociraptor the catch. And yeah, he's obviously a very, very talented player. Way, way better than Cooper Kupp.
Oh man. Like
But
career, I
neither,
can't even
Is
hit
he a
on
yeah,
that.
Super
Yeah.
MVP, Jax?
yeah. There you go. Yeah. So anyway, but neither one of them count for fantasy. For sure, DeAndre Hopkins is dead for fantasy. I
Yeah,
think. I
we
mean,
can't.
just
We
Yeah.
absolutely
can't.
dead.
I think we just need to free Rashad Bateman because
That's the question.
my point with him is that any hit to his targets is a big fucking hit.
Big
He had
hit. Yes,
67 targets last year, guys. 45 receptions. His
I
thing was
know.
efficiency. He had over 750 yards and 9 touchdowns on those 45 receptions. So
Does this help or
you
hurt?
can't bet on that. I think it hurts because any
Yeah.
snaps that DeAndre Hopkins is taking means that Rashad Bateman's probably not on the field.
Yeah.
And obviously he's not getting targets there. And then when he's on the field, he's barely getting targets anyway. So if
Right.
he could go to another team, I think he could be a really
He
viable option for
played
us.
good.
But
Right. He
the
played good.
candle is barely flickering at this point. Shout
It's
out to
rough.
Wiz, but
Yep.
man.
We are out on Bateman until he's on team number 2,
Yeah.
and then the candle will start to produce a more consistent flame. But right now, no, forget about it for this year.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wonder if he can get out of there at some point because maybe he's a buy low for that reason that we can prognosticate him going someplace and actually having a role, but it does not look good. It's
There's
hard to
just
buy
better.
him.
There's just better bets to make at this point. He's got to
Totally,
be just a throw in on a team where you got some room
totally,
to spare and wait a year.
totally,
So
totally.
just forget about it for Nuke. Forget about it for Bateman. It's Zay Flowers. It's
Yeah.
Henry. It's the tight ends, and
That's it.
obviously Lamar.
Yep, that's it.
So staying with wide receiver heartthrob news, Tyler Johnson signed with the Jets, boys. Joking. I'm joking. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about
No,
that. Although I do love Tyler Johnson still. We're actually going to go to
talk about a
Indianapolis.
lit candle for me, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, barely. Gonna go to Indianapolis. Talk about a move that I said last week, guys, would be a terrible move on this guy's part, considering his other option, but maybe that isn't an option. Daniel Jones signs with Indianapolis for the chance to start. And you guys did say in response to me that Daniel Jones has made his money and he probably just wants to start. So the opportunity to get a big payday in Minnesota did not supersede the opportunity to start games in Indianapolis. And it looks like he's going to have a shot to do that. And I'm betting that he starts a significant amount of games in 2025, guys. Kind of hilarious. It's going to be fun to see Daniel Jones back as a starter on an NFL
It's not
team.
going to be fun to see James.
It'll be interesting to see what Shane Steichen can squeeze out of him. There are some wide receivers there as well, and obviously Jonathan Taylor, who could maybe insulate him, but he also had Saquon Barkley, who was supposed to insulate him in New York, and that didn't happen. Joe, any optimism or any hope for any of those teams where you might have Danny Dimes as your QB4 in a super flex?
Just to be clear, I have Daniel Jones on exactly 0
Okay,
of
hypothetical.
my
Yeah.
14
Say
dynasty
it.
teams.
Say it.
There are no cares because there are 0 shares. Unfortunately, I do have a Rich on 2 of those, and man,
Not looking
dude,
good.
it's tough times. It's tough times for the A Rich investors. I was like,
No doubt.
thankfully, wise enough, maybe, I don't know, to get out of, my other 2 shares of A Rich, but oh God, it's bad. If he can't beat out Daniel Jones, like it feels over, like worse than Justin Fields over. like, whatever. Justin Fields just got another contract, and we're going to see a few games out of him this year. I mean, we're going to see. I mean, we're in like Trey Lance territory almost. It feels like it's just bad. He better win. He better win this summer. Anyways, go ahead.
So a couple of quick things. Number one, the Sam Darnold contract. I just saw some word that they can get out of that after year one. The Justin Fields contract is basically a 1-year deal. I mean, a lot of these guys are getting close to 10 million. Yeah, they're getting 10 million for backup money. So for good backup, he's getting 20 million. Like, it's not a ton. It's way less. It's the lowest starter money in the league, right? So it's not a big contract. That contract is not tethering Justin Fields to opportunity. If you want to talk about it, we can. But back to Anthony Richardson. I don't know if you guys heard Hail to the King, Matthew Berry's take on Anthony Richardson. Did you happen to hear it?
No.
I will echo it right now, and I agree with Matthew Berry 1,000%. If you draft Anthony Richardson with the 3rd overall pick, then you must commit to giving him the opportunity to rise and fail, to succeed and crash, to do all these things that you got to go through it with him. And you got to have organizational rigidity where it is a structural thing where we're going to play this guy and figure it out. And he said, you got to go into this season and say, you're starting 17 games, pal, win or lose. And at the end of that 17 games, you're either our quarterback next year or you're not. And that's that. We're going to see what you got. We're going to go game to game. You're going to learn things. This has to be his opportunity. I think it was Andrew Cooper said it, if I don't remember right, but they said, why would you draft a developmental quarterback and then don't develop him? It doesn't make any sense. Why would you think he was going to be good out of the box? Nobody said that. Nobody's like, you know what? Finished product, this guy. He's ready to go. Nobody. 0 people. Not a single scout gave him that advice. So why are they doing this? This is the worst thing they could possibly do. I don't know if he's any good, but neither will they if they yo-yo Daniel Jones in there sometimes. They've got to either stick with him or cut bait. But at the end of the day, bringing Daniel Jones, we know what Daniel Jones is. Daniel Jones is a middling guy who will get you maybe a couple wins here and there, but he's not an elevator of any talent. Anthony Richardson has elite traits, period. He has elite traits. He has maybe one of the strongest arms, top 5 in the league. He has he's got an Adonis body with a 4.4 wheels. Like, this dude is built to be exceptional if he can figure it out. So what the hell are you doing not helping him figure it out, or you figure out that he can't figure it out? Those are the only 2 options. I love Matthew Berry's take. Play him 17 games, figure it out, and then that's that. What do you think?
I think that's a perfect take.
I think that was not half taked. That was full taked.
Full. Said with my chest.
I was taken.
It's true, though. It's so maddening. They're like, oh, we'll get Daniel Jones in here. It's like, no, what does that do for you?
100% true. The cynic in me says the fact that they signed Daniel Jones means that, like, very short leash, and it's kind of already over.
Of course it's already over, right?
Yeah.
That's right. That's my point, is like they're killing themselves. Like, just cut bait, trade him, or you got to be committed. You got to say, no, this is the guy, we're going. And of course, behind the closed doors, you go, maybe not, bro. But you got to say that to you got to move forward with full force of, like, the plan. You can't be like, well, maybe the plan's this or that. I don't really know. It's the 3rd overall pick of the draft. You got to go for it, and then if not, move on or move on now.
He's got to overwhelmingly win in camp in order to have a chance.
What are the odds of that?
I don't know. Not great.
Good, right? How would we expect that, right? None of these things make any sense. You have to literally curate him. That's what it is. Like, think about how hard that is. Even if you're like, I know this is crazy, but you're playing video games. You play a video game. What do? You're like, oh, fuck, I got to figure it out here. Hold on, mate. You know what I mean? Like, how do I, oh, wait, somebody throws a slant. Oh, I got to throw it ahead. Oh, fuck. You know what I mean? It's like all these things you learn, and then you're like, fucking nail that slant. You played 10 games or something before you're like fucking nailing everything. It's kind of the same thing, except with your physical body. It's crazy. I'm over it.
It's botched. It's a full, complete botched job. They were dangling Joe Flacco in front of him last year.
Yeah.
Like, what the
And
fuck?
of course, Joe Flacco's better for fantasy and everything.
At delivering the football.
Now,
yeah.
So let's talk. So I think Anthony Richardson is a lost cause because they're not committed to him. So you really almost, it's really sad. But here's a question. Who starts more games for the rest of their career? Anthony Richardson or Justin Fields?
Or Justin Fields. I'd have
Justin
to say
Fields.
Fields right
Justin
now.
Fields. Yeah,
Look at that.
I know.
Crazy.
I
He
know.
might
I hate
start
it.
more
I
in
hate it.
2025 than Anthony Richardson starts the rest of his career.
Isn't that
That's
crazy?
insane. Would you guys put well, I guess no, the feeler would be too expensive still on Anthony Richardson to maybe just buy him low, thinking that he does get shipped out and has a resurgence. Like
I'd wait for the
that's
bottom to fall out.
it's still too expensive, I would say.
Yep.
Just the wound is too fresh. Yeah, terrible.
I mean,
Terrible.
if you
Both
could sell like a player, like if you have 3 quarterbacks and you could sell like Sam Darnold for him plus, maybe that makes sense or something. I don't really know, but I don't. It
even
doesn't.
that, you
It
might be
doesn't. Right?
trading for a nothing. Like I'm thinking we need to wait until he costs you like a second round rookie pick, and that's it.
Yep. And
You,
even
you
that
don't you don't
feels
think
like
he
Even
costs
that.
that now? You don't think he costs
Uh,
that now?
I don't
I
know. I
think
You
think
he'd
don't
be
think
people
I
are
worth that
could
still
get
now.
looking
that?
for a first. Maybe.
I don't think if I could sell him for a second round rookie pick right now, I would do that.
I think
Yeah,
so.
maybe.
Especially an early one
That
would be
deal's
like
not out
amazing.
there.
Nope,
Yeah.
it's
True
not.
that. True that. The wound still feels fresh though, right? Like those teams that you drafted him high.
Yet he still has top 5 quarterback ceiling. That's what's crazy.
Dude, yeah.
That's
It's crazy.
that's true.
Oh
That's
man.
true. That's just
Okay,
facts.
we spent too much time on the Colts there, fellas, but good conversation nonetheless. We're gonna go to Mile High and we're gonna talk about the Broncos. I like this move, guys, bringing in
Yeah.
Evan Ingram, who got
Yep.
ditched by the Jaguars. Signs with Sean Payton and Bo Nix there in Denver. We've been talking about them all offseason as a landing spot for one of these rookie tight ends. Kind of ruins my Colston Loveland thoughts on him being kind of that guy there, but I do like it for Evan Ingram as well. Jax, looked like you had something ready to say, so why don't you fire in on that one and then pass it off to Joe Quave?
Yeah, well, I like that Evan Ingram tweeted the Joker picture or whatever he did there.
Yeah.
That was cool. What do you think of that, Joe?
It was fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think that he anymore has the athleticism to be that Joker that Sean Payne is looking for, but I'm
Maybe not.
glad that he tweeted the tweet.
Yeah. Adam Troutman certainly doesn't, so he'll be better at it than Adam Troutman.
Well, it's
Yeah.
just I wonder what happens with Colson Loveland. I told you I'd sneak in some rookie talk here. I did a mock today, and
Yes, you did.
and I had Tyler Warren slipping to 14 to the Colts,
Colts,
and of
right?
course that may not happen. Like because I was looking at you look at Jets at 7, you're like, oh, I could do that. Jets at 7, Saints at 9 a little bit. You're like, oh, I could do that here. You look at Chicago at 10, you're like, that would be interesting. Dallas at 10, at 12, you could see, Tyler Warren. So there's a number of spots you need. Third.
What about Turd? I said Turd Ferguson.
Oh, Turd Ferguson. But no, it's you just, if Tyler Warren falls at all and gets to the 14 range, which I think is his floor. I think Tyler Warren is gone by the Colts if he gets there, right? At least that's the if he gets there, it's possible that Colson Loveland could fall all the way to the Chargers. That's possible.
That's what I think is happening.
That's what I did in the mock, because
that's most likely. Now that Denver's off that table, I think absolutely with Harbaugh. They did re-sign Stone Smart, but I don't think that precludes them from anything.
No, Stone Smart went to the Jets.
Did he go to the Jets? I thought he re-signed with the Chargers.
Went to the
Fuck,
Jets.
I thought I saw that. Did they sign another tight end? Like a backup type dude?
Probably.
Oh, it's all a blur, boys. It's all a blur.
They probably signed somebody. There's Jags going everywhere, bro.
So Jags everywhere.
Now this is the guy that got signed.
Back to Evan Ingram on the Broncos. I think he could easily be the number 2 or probably at worst 3 target earner on that team.
Yep.
It makes me a little sad for the Marvin Mims hope that I've expressed over these airwaves based on the way
he's not going to be number 2.
Yeah,
Marvin's not going to be number 2 if Evan Ingram's number 3.
He's probably not. He's
number 2 is not on the team yet. Number 2 is not on the team yet. If Evan Ingram is number 3 in that equation.
Yeah, I know. So it makes me a little bit sad. I think he's going to become kind of the short area guy, which probably means Mims is a deep threat. But yeah, I don't know about him being like, taking handoffs and all of that and being like the true Joker
Yeah,
role, like
No.
the Sean Payton offenses of old. But I think he's going to be a very viable producer on that team. And, he's probably still a top 6 to 10 tight end, so great.
Yeah.
I'm not super excited. He's never going to hit, I don't think, that level he hit 2 years ago, especially in PPR leagues where it was just absurd, or tight end premium leagues, which it was like just crazy. But I think it's fine. I'm happy for him. I'm annoyed that like the Bengals didn't get him, but now we know why.
I think Evan Engram is still very viable. And on that offense where they were searching for a tight end, like they just consistently play a different tight end every week. And like, you'd be like, who's that? He caught a fucking pass, you'd always wonder who it is. And they were searching at the wide receiver position. Obviously, in this household, we were really hoping for Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims to play a full, allotment of snaps alongside Cortland Sutton. But for some reason or another, they did not. It could be that they're not good. It could be that they weren't ready. It could be a lot of things. And it could be that they do play a much closer to full allotment of snaps in 2025. It's also possible that they're not good and they don't play at all. So we'll see about all that. But did you see who I had going to the Denver Broncos in the mock draft, or did you not remember who it was?
Was it Omarion? It was Omarion.
Ding,
That's
ding,
right.
Ding, 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 ding.
That would be stinky.
Wouldn't that be kind of cool? Like, I mean, there's a team that like
stinky
has,
cool.
I mean,
the Alvin Kamara comp. He's the Alvin Kamara
maybe it's a
comp.
wide receiver, but like if not, or whatever, like it doesn't feel like Colson Loveland anymore if you have an Evan Engram type player. I mean, that would be really duplicitous, right? So, I mean, it felt like a luxury pick, but at the same time, fuck it, let's go, boys,
Yeah.
Not only that, I mean, I said weeks ago that his comp was Alvin Kamara, just in his contact balance and the way he plays. I'm sure Sean Payton is seeing the same thing. He's tried to piece it together with Javonte Williams. He's gone. Yep. Estime wasn't super impressive last year. McLaughlin is not like an every down guy.
Right.
They don't have the dude. So
I
think it's Omarion.
Yeah.
And I think Franklin and Mims are probably going the way of like the Robert Meachams in our Sean Payton analogies here, right? Where it's just like, he scores a big touchdown every like 5 weeks. Good luck guessing when that's going to be.
Great call.
That is a great pull.
Yep.
Wow. Meacham was fun, wasn't he? I would acquire him in Madden just for his speed. Yeah. I would acquire him in Madden just for that speed. Run him on 9 routes every single play. Every single play.
Absolutely.
How's your gas tank, bud?
He's good, bro. It's a video game. He's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
When's this episode dropping, by the way? Because I didn't know we were going to be shitting on Marvin Mims, and I need to sell the last few shares now.
No. Buy.
Yeah.
Lower his price and rebuy in. We're getting Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin at a discount all off season.
1/4 for both of them.
Oh, so bad. I'm so hurt. This segment hurts
bad.
me.
It hurts.
I still believe in Mims. I still believe in Mims. Screw you guys.
I believe in both of them. But we gotta be realistic sometimes, Joe. I know.
Absolutely, brother.
Okay, so we're gonna kind of move a little faster through some of these because some of them are shitbags, and I more so wanted to talk about the impact they have on other dudes. But Raheem Mostert to the Raiders, Joe, you said at the top of the show that you think he's nothing, and I wanted to chime in and say that I think there could be a sneaky little bit of value there because we know that he can break those explosive plays. And my take here is that, like, if they don't go Ashton Genty and they go one of the other running backs, Raheem Mostert is going to be in the fantasy running back landscape for at least the first half of the season while that guy gets acclimated, while Fossil Pete Carroll kind of allows that guy to get in, like I think he will get some snaps as a veteran if there is some youth there. Sincere McCormick is another guy that's there as well. But I think there could be some early value on Mostert. I think, let's just say off the hop, if you can include Mostert in a deal and get any value on him right now to get out, you should get out any way you can if you're recouping something. But if he's a guy that is going to just die on your roster, I think you might get a couple of starts out of him in 2025.
If I'm not mistaken, Chip Kelly drafted Raheem Mostert. I think Raheem Mostert might have been undrafted. I don't even remember. But anyways, the 7th or undrafted.
7th round thing. 7th round, I think.
He was on the Chip Kelly Eagles once upon a time. And I think this is just a
Niners.
familiarity.
Chip Kelly Niners.
Was the Chip Kelly Niners?
Yeah, Mostert wasn't on the Eagles,
Okay, fair enough.
but
I'm
Chip
just
Kelly
saying
nonetheless.
there's a Chip Kelly connection here, and I think that's all we're really talking about is familiarity with the offense and the scheme they're going to run. I think there's not much left in the tank. Sure, maybe there's a little bit of value. I agree with your point, though. Use this news to get off him if you still have him, and you've got a league mate dumb enough to buy.
I just know that there's a gigantic W on this team, and that is the fossil records of a former RB3 in his class that I said was nowhere near an RB3 in his class, and that is Isaiah Spiller, who is listed as the like RB6 on the on this team. Like one,
What?
2, 3, 4. Yeah, Isaiah
What?
Spiller.
I'm
Yeah.
a Raiders fan. I did not know about this.
He is on the team. He's behind. It goes like I'm on our lads right now, and it goes Mostert, McCormick, Zamir White, Dylan Lobby, something called Chris Collier, and then Isaiah Spiller. And I think that's fucking amazing that Isaiah Spiller is now the RB6 on the Raiders, who don't have a running back. And people were saying Isaiah Spiller was going to be like the guy.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. By the way, I just looked it up. He was on the Eagles in 2015. He also
Sorry, sir.
he also went to the Chip Kelly Niners, which I'm even having a hard time even remembering that era.
It was one season.
Wow, I
One
love this.
season.
Yeah.
I love
But
this.
so he went from
Sorry.
Chip Kelly's Eagles to Chip Kelly's Niners. Now that Chip Kelly's back in the NFL, Raheem Mostert has another job. So he likes Mostert. That's what this comes down to.
Yeah, when Chip Kelly finds a type, he is not quiet about it. You know pretty quick.
Yeah.
I
He
can
was
tell you all
also
about that.
undrafted, signed with the Eagles.
Right.
So there
Wow.
you go. He
Missing
discovered
on
him.
all
He can't let him
fronts.
go. He's still
Yeah.
Right.
baby.
It's his boy.
It's a
his
hubris thing.
discovery.
He's trying to make Raheem Mostert work in his offense finally.
I mean, in Chip Kelly's defense, he was right. Raheem Mostert was a thing for a while.
He
He
was
saw
pretty
something
fucking
that
awesome.
came to fruition.
Yeah. True that.
Pretty fucking awesome. So actually, we're going to stay in San Francisco in the Bay.
Ooh, this is a good one.
This is a juicy one. Yeah. A couple weeks ago, guys, we were talking about some quarterback landing spots, and I just kind of gently floated out there. Has Brock Purdy been signed by the 49ers yet? And I was told absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is not a landing spot. They're going to sign Brock Purdy. There's no way that they let these guys leave and they're not going to sign Brock Purdy. I don't know if Mac Jones precludes them from signing Brock Purdy, but we know that Kyle Shanahan did like him some Mac Jones during the draft process when Mac Jones was coming out. And so I just pose to you guys, if there is a little bit of a hole in the armor of Brock Purdy this season, do you think Mac Jones is enough to drive a wedge in that? Jax, go ahead.
I will say this. I think that Shanahan has the hubris to believe that that's true. That's what I'll say. I'm not sure that Mac Jones has the skill level to make that true. I believe that, Shanahan was pissed that someone else was able to unearth Sam Darnold and make him look good. He wanted to do it in San Francisco. He wanted to make Sam Darnold the thing and let him get paid and be like, see, told you, it's all me. And I think he's going to try and do it with Mac Jones somehow. I obviously Brock Purdy is dead to me after taking himself out of the game in week 17, losing the Dynasty Game Theory Invitational for me because he hurt his fucking hand or something. And then Dobbs goes in there and immediately completes a pass and scores a touchdown, which should have been my points, and I should have won the championship. Aside from all that, and Brock Purdy sucking an egg for that, which I am completely pissed off about and will never forgive him. Once he gets hurt because of the karma of that event, Mac Jones will enter the game and rue the day. It'll be Shanahan and Mac Jones together again. They'll let Brock Purdy walk, and you're right as rain, Mr. Trav. Right as rain.
Go ahead, Joe.
Shanahan traded 3 first-round picks for Mac Jones.
For Trey Lance?
No. He traded those first-round picks for Mac Jones. That was Schefter's story. Schefter stuck to that story. He said they wanted Mac Jones, and then Shanahan got overruled, and then they took the athletic guy and Trey Lance. And I mean, we could go galaxy brain here, but maybe Shanahan manufactured his implosion. maybe he never gave him a chance because he never wanted Trey Lance in the first place, and kind of like talked himself into these RPOs. They traded 3 first-round picks. Now, granted, it's really 2 first-round picks plus the one that they moved up in that year, but he always wanted Mac Jones. He just got Mac Jones. He never wanted Trey Lance. Trey Lance is nothing now. It's funny, we're talking about Trey Lance so much this episode, but
so good.
This is a very
this is
interesting
him being
full
right all
circle.
over again. He's going to be right.
Oh my God, it's such a full circle moment. And
so good.
The great irony is, had they not traded all those picks to get Mac Jones, they probably would have won at one of those Super Bowls. Right?
Maybe.
They've been to 2 Super Bowls since then.
Who knows? Maybe if they just had drafted Mac Jones, they would have won a Super Bowl. You don't even know.
Trade those picks.
Not
You
even
could have
that
drafted. You could have just drafted Mac Jones with one of those picks.
Holy
Yeah,
They could have stayed put and drafted
It's
Mac
possible.
Jones.
Unreal.
Oh,
Yeah,
talking about hubris.
It's worth talking about. It's worth talking about.
This is like the Shanahan Mac Jones fucking revenge tour. I love this.
It's gonna be great.
I love it because it's like going to actually lead to Shanahan's demise.
Yeah, I don't even know if Mac Jones is or is not talented enough, because we thought the same thing about 7th round pick Brock Purdy, that he may or may not be talented enough to run this offense. And he's been a top 10 fantasy quarterback the last couple of seasons, guys. So I think Mac Jones could absolutely succeed in this offense. Shanny could do it, and he probably wants to do it. So stay tuned, because what do you do with fucking Brock Purdy?
No, I'm gonna chime in here. Mac Jones is not talented enough. Not only that, I mean, the best thing I can say about Mac Jones is that he didn't kill Brian Thomas Jr. last season when he came in and played those games, and they lost like all of them. That's
when Brian Thomas took off.
Yeah, and that's not with.
I think that's a Brian Thomas take, not a Mac Jones take.
Maybe.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Yeah, if you hate fun. Yeah, if you hate fun, it is, Joe.
Right. Yeah, show me the splits with and without Mac Jones, and we'll see what Brian Thomas Jr. really is.
Doing that right now.
You are. Oh my God. This is great. All right, I'll take back over hosting. Yeah.
Hold on. I got a question, Joe. So what about the Jordan Mason trade now to Minnesota and the implications there? I think that's actually something, while he's looking that up, we can talk about. Minnesota goes from like the ultimate landing spot for a running back to now maybe not even a landing spot at all, with Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason there. Or is it a landing spot and Jordan Mason is just a guy?
No, I think Jordan Mason is. We talked about this last week, where Aaron Jones ran out of gas and he needs a running mate, and he always had one in Green Bay. And last season he played all 17 games, but he ran out of gas in like mid-November and was not the same dude. So having a Jordan Mason there helps Aaron Jones. I think he's the perfect just meat shield to throw out there late in games and early downs, and let Aaron Jones do his thing as a receiver and have stay explosive throughout the course of the season. I probably think Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken, only has 4 draft picks this year. So I highly doubt that this team that's kind of on the cusp in every other way is going to go spend draft capital on the running back position when they just re-signed Aaron Jones.
Great point. Great take.
And they have Jordan Mason. I think they're going to go elsewhere with those picks. Yeah. Maybe bolster that defense, maybe bolster that O-line. But I think they're like right there. They're really close to being.
Their team is really good.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. They don't need to draft a running back because there's still a bunch on the free agent list.
J.K. Dobbins or whatever, right?
Yeah. Nick Chubb. There's lots of guys that they could pair with Aaron Jones and still be decent. All right, Trav, I see a smirk on your face. Tell us the BTJ, Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence splits, sir.
Well, it's just...
Can I make a prediction before you say anything?
Mm-hmm.
BTJ was equally as good with both of these guys because he's actually the great player.
I'm not sure about that. Let's hear it.
Yeah,
well, he was actually more efficient on less volume with Lawrence and not Mac Jones is who we're talking about here. So
what about yards per game?
Breaking news, Brian Thomas Jr. is good.
So PPR points with Mac Jones is first, without Mac Jones is second. 16.95, 16.36. So a little bit more with Mac, 0.6 more.
There you go.
Receptions, though. Receptions, 6 receptions, 3.86. So a bump in receptions. 0.5 touchdowns per game, 0.71 touchdowns per game. So more touchdowns on the Lawrence side. 9.5 targets per game, 5.43 targets per game. So he knew who to target, and it was Brian Thomas Jr. 76.2 yards.
He's a 5-target guy without Mac Jones, is what I'm saying. That's
he turned into a 10-target per game player.
That's what the data says.
Matt Kelly has a corollary for this. For the backup quarterback, he played for the
that's actually
for the Texans. No,
Davis Mills.
No. Before that, Savage,
really?
the Dan Savage corollary, right? When Dan Savage would come
Randy
in,
Savage? No, that's
the Macho Man Dan Savage.
Oh yeah,
would just pepper the wide receiver one with targets. Who were we even talking? Hopkins. It was Hopkins at the time. Oh, God, so many full circle moments this episode. Yeah. That's the fucking Savage corollary right there. All right. He was like, I'm gonna throw it to the guy that's gonna make me look the best, and maybe I'll make some money, and Kyle Shanahan will love me again.
Yep.
All right. 2025, Mac Jones rising.
That's not the take.
I know.
I've taked at best.
But that's the comedy, and that's what sometimes just that's what you need to be here for, is just to have a laugh. Rico Dowdle, Carolina Panthers. Main reason I have it on here, not because I care about Rico Dowdle, because I care about Chuba Hubbard. I think Rico Dowdle could put a little bit of a dent in there, but I think the contract and what Chuba did last year makes me not too worried about drafting Chuba. I think what it means, though, is maybe in that kind of around running back 12 to 14 price range, that might be a little closer to ceiling as opposed to having a little upside on that. But how much of a dent do you think Jax Rico Dowdle puts into Chuba Hubbard? You don't care? Love it.
No. I think if anything, it puts a dent in his price tag, which is a good thing. So yeah, I'm all in on Chuba. I mean, Chuba was awesome, man. He was so good. I don't think they gave him the bag. That was the number one indicator when they were like mid-season. They're like, fucking pay this motherfucker. Get him on the squad. So I think that's a huge deal. Right on, brother. And I mean, Chuba got a raw deal coming out of the draft. His second, he should have never stayed in school. He should have come out. In his junior season, he would have been, further ahead of the game, would have been more well regarded. Anyway, long story short, Chuba's fucking awesome. I remember him being awesome in college. He's awesome now. He's a really good player.
Mm-hmm. I always got to represent for the 4 Canadians in the league, so he's one of them.
Yeah, no, way better than Josh Palmer.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I like Josh Palmer too, though, but I'm kind of biased, so I'm not the one to speak.
Chuba's dope.
Yeah, he is dope. Mike Williams re-signed with the Chargers. In brackets on the notes here I got, and Jalen Reagor, LOL, re-signed with the Chargers. Fellas, kind of more of a take on their offense here because they did sign Mekhi Becton as well, who will bring the Eagles a comp pick, and I'm stoked about that. But Mike Williams, do you think he's anything back with the Chargers, or is he maybe holding a place for one of those rookies?
I think he's neither holding a place nor will he be back like to the Mike Williams of old. I think what this does mean is Ladd McConkey's wheels remain up, and also the QJ lifeline is extended for at least a few more weeks, maybe months, maybe I don't know, until halfway through the season. So the QJ sell window is extended.
Yes.
The Ladd McConkey being the wide receiver 1 on this team, I feel like is further solidified. And Mike Williams, just go beat Mike Williams. And that's probably good enough for this team because they're going to take Colton Loveland.
And my take is no matter who they draft, there isn't a wide receiver they can draft in this draft that will make Ladd McConkey not a wide receiver 1.
You're right. You're absolutely right on that.
I actually don't have Ladd McConkey as a wide receiver 1, so that's going to be an interesting watch for us. He's right outside. He's like 14 or something like that, but I just think there's guys that can present higher upside than him.
Ladd McConkey is what Ladd McConkey is what you think Cooper Kupp is in your stupid head.
You need to that take is a quarter baked. All right.
I think
get a half take at least.
You guys think that Ladd McConkey is Cooper Kupp's triple crown season every season. And I think
Cooper Kupp is a hard shell taco with ground beef. And Lad McConkey is an authentic Al Pastor street taco.
Lad McConkey
that's
will
absolutely
never.
right.
Lad McConkey
Best
will
analogy
never
I've
have a
ever heard.
season. He'll never have a season better than the one that Cooper Kupp.
That's probably
Cooper
true.
Kupp will
That's
never
true.
have Cooper Kupp will never have the career that I don't know. This is a stupid take.
It is what it is.
I like
It
Lad
was fun to
McConkey.
say, though.
I
It was
like
fun to
Anyways,
say.
all right.
But I think you're steaming.
Isn't Lad McConkey's rookie season better than all but one of Cooper Kupp's seasons?
Correct.
Yes. All right.
Carry on.
I'll leave it at that.
Maybe one other was close. He had like 1,100 yards once too, so it was close.
Don't compare them. I know they comped Lad to Kupp. I comped Lad to Nightcrawler.
Right.
I did not ever comp Kupp to a superhero. So
Okay.
there's that.
Yeah, there's that.
Fair enough. I can't really fuck with that. The guy fucking is in one place now and he's in another place the next second. So yeah.
Yep.
That's true. That's how
that is how he rolls, by the way. He is in one place at one time and then another place at exactly the same moment. And you're like, whoa.
But with the
he's
football.
open. Yes.
So
dude is good.
If we didn't get excited enough last week about the Dallas Cowboys backfield, boys, let's get more excited this week. Miles Sanders signs with the Dallas Cowboys in moves that mean nothing. Here's one. What do you guys think? He's going to get some snaps. He's going to get some work in 2025. Like, are they going in to 2025 with Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams as their tandem?
You heard me on the undrafted. I made the joke that, like, you know, free agency started. Jerry Jones was like asleep in his office, and Jerry Jones's like assistant walked in and like shoved him and was like, "Hey, wake up!" And he was like, "What's going on?" It's like free agency started. He's like, "What year is it?" You know what I mean? He's signing dudes like it's 2018. He's like, "Javon's available? Shit, bring him in." Miles Sanders too. You know, I mean, it's just ridiculous.
The Eagles are going to be pissed.
Yeah, yeah, the Eagles.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly.
Can't wait to see Howie's face.
Yeah. My take on Miles Sanders is that he is a running back that is still in the NFL.
Yeah.
Enough
said. Enough said.
He's a running back.
So another former Eagles running back, and a guy that I thought kind of just the stance was kind of interesting. Kenneth Gainwell signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was seeing people use that as a chance to anoint Jaylen Warren as a bell cow. And so my take on that was that if there's league mates of yours that are anointing Jaylen Warren because the Steelers signed Kenneth Gainwell, you should be selling the shit out of Jaylen Warren right now. Because if there's people that think he's a bell cow, he's about to get replaced in the draft. He's going to become another second fiddle, whether we like him or not. We know that he can maybe do more if he has an expanded role, but I don't think he's getting that opportunity in Pittsburgh, and it looks like a lot of people are. So I just want people to know that you should take advantage of that if you can find that opportunity.
I agree. I will never stop believing in Kenneth Gainwell either. I think he was on the wrong team. I think he's probably still on the wrong team. I think somewhere out there, he's a Darren Sproles in the multiverse somewhere.
He's different too, though. Like he's really like good in the red zone.
Cook, though, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know, we were talking about it on the show last week again with Derek Brown. I was like, you know, is Brashard Smith destined to be Kenny Gainwell? Because I remember when Kenny Gainwell was good. Like he was dope. Like you turn on the Kenny Gainwell college film and you're like, this guy is going to be great. And then he was a little undersized and he got pigeonholed as a sort of change of pace, pass game only, yada, yada, you know, just the sort of this extra guy on a team that's valuable, can make big plays when he's, you know, this is sort of pigeonholed. And I think he's going to be that in Pittsburgh as well. I agree with you. I don't think this is anything great for Kenny Gainwell. By the way, though, when you start to run the thought experiment, how many teams are there in the NFL? Like 32, right? Last I checked. How deep are our rookie rankings at running back? Like 20? Like there's 20 dudes that are coming in that will be drafted. I mean, I don't know if actually maybe 20 will be drafted. Probably.
Oh yeah, 20 will be drafted for sure. I think 10 of them are probably good, but we think 15 are good.
Yeah.
Right. But my point is like it could be the ones we don't even know. Like, you know, whoever goes there, we could be like, oh, he sucks. And then he's fucking starting, you know? You know, like a Damian Martinez gets drafted by them and you're like,
he's sick. Yeah.
He's pretty good. Like,
He's sick.
who's going to play more, Jalen Warren or him? Like, that's not a for sure settled bet. Certainly, he could eat in. I mean, we like Chris Rodriguez when he came in. Remember,
Yeah.
in a way that we like Damian Martinez, like, first and second down grinder type, big body, explosive. Chris Rodriguez was good in Washington when he got his chance, but sometimes these guys, maybe they don't play as much as you like. Long story short, my point is that 20 guys are going to be landing in these different spots, and Pittsburgh seems to be one of them. Who they get, I don't know, but that they get somebody is pretty sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and my guess would be he's going to be fairly big based on their current running backs.
Exactly.
Right.
Damian Martinez is a good call.
That's why I said it.
Yeah. Ollie Gordon feels like,
which means has a
feels
role
like the new
because the
Najee
other guys
Harris.
aren't that.
Totally. Dude, Ollie
Has
Gordon
a
is
role.
Najee Harris, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ollie Gordon in the fourth, you'd be like, oh my God. He'd be brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be
would
very
be awesome.
interested.
Would be awesome for me. I know I'm an Eagles fan. I know what Kenny Gainwell is for sure. Staying with the Eagles backfield, save some thighs for the rest of us, guys, because you had Saquon Barkley. Now you got A.J. Dillon re-signing after that bad neck injury in Green Bay. And A.J. Dillon is a backfield mate of Saquon Barkley. Jax, what do you think about this? Like, A.J. Dillon showed a little bit early in his career. I think he was always kind of destined to be a first and second down grinder, even though he is a little bit fleet of foot compared to your typical kind of plotting guys. But yeah, I don't know. I think he fits the mold. He's not as dynamic as Saquon Barkley. He is, if Saquon Barkley goes down, it's going to be A.J. Dillon and probably somebody else filling that hole. It's not going to be just A.J. Dillon. But what do you think about that signing? Are you interested in like a super deep flyer?
Do you guys know the contract, Joe? Do you happen to have that? I don't have it at the tip of my fingers, but I don't know. Like, our lads has him as the backup running back and Will Shipley as the number 3. Are we sure that's going to be?
No, absolutely. And Will Shipley is way better than A.J. Dillon. What are we talking about?
They fill different roles, right? They fill they together are filling
one's
that
good,
role.
one isn't. Like,
I got another half take. I've got another half take.
Go for it.
A.J. Dillon is there for one purpose and one purpose only. That is in the tush-push alignments. They're going to get him in his massive thighs to go behind Jalen Hurts and push him over that first down or goal line.
Wow.
That's what A.J. Dillon's there for. His thighs, the power, nothing else. And he is going to
doggy
be
style?
a lethal. Yes, he is going to be the top on the tush-push in Philadelphia, and that's it, because Will Shipley is better than him in every single way. A.J. Dillon has absolutely no explosiveness. He's not a good receiver. Not that they care about that per se, but Will Shipley's way better. He's the number 2. A.J. Dillon is there for pushing the tushin.
He's there for thigh thrust, cock thigh thrust.
Yes, 100%. You can't convince me otherwise. That's not even half take. That's full take. That's full take.
While we're here, maybe Trav, you know something about this. There's been a little bit of rumors about Dallas Goedert being on the trade block.
Dude, I think it might happen. I think it's
happening by the draft.
I hate it.
For sure.
I hate it because I love Dallas Goedert. They did bring in Harrison Bryant and Kylan Granson, both kind of those like blocker plus a little bit, maybe, you know what I mean? And I think what it is Dallas Goedert's just not a necessity in the offense anymore. You see it. He's used very sporadically. He is effective when he is used. He's an after the catch demon. I will maintain he is probably a top 5 talent at the tight end position in the NFL right now. The offense just is not predicated on using him anymore with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith in there. It's frustrating because I've had him on a bunch of rosters. I watch the team and I see how effective he is and not continually getting used. But then it's like, who are they going to not use while using him, right? So I kind of get that. The offense is much more of a funnel now than it is when he came in, but I hope he doesn't go to a team that I hate, and I hope he goes to a team where he can show that he's a top 5 talent is all I'm thinking. But it's going to be fucking sad, I'll tell you that,
this
boys.
This is a joke not everybody will get, but I bet you when he's traded, he won't even see it coming.
end the show on that.
Oh
I know we
man.
got more, but maybe we should just stop.
Yeah.
All right. I'm glad you brought this Goddard topic up, Jax, because I tried selling. You guys are still laughing. I'm trying so hard to keep this thing rolling. I tried selling Calcaterra on this news, and the recipient of the trade didn't even understand why I was making the offer. I was like, new tight end in Philadelphia, bro. What are you
Nobody
talking about?
knows Grant Calcaterra. Nobody fucking knows who that is.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
So this
That's
is an
so
example of me being like way too on the news. Like we got to make sure this is more mainstream before we start throwing those Calcaterra trade offers out there. And that part of me was like, you know what? Maybe I'm better off keeping him.
What are the numbers of people that got that joke? I mean, obviously you both got it. But what's the percentages?
So
What's
if you understood that joke, please comment in the
Oh my God.
YouTube. Oh
Right?
my
Tell
cheeks hurt.
everybody.
Fuck. I need to stretch out my mouth because my cheeks hurt.
What are the numbers? Like, is this a 40% got it? Or how many
Maybe.
people are going, what the fuck are they laughing at? Like, I want to know.
40% Goddard.
Oh, this show is perfect. You
Man.
guys, this is great.
Yeah, I have
Oh.
fun every week getting in the lab with you guys, let me tell you. I hope the listeners have as much fun as us because, boys, I'm keeping all of that in, even the parts where we laugh for like Family Guy lengths of time.
I just know that if this was an undrafted show, it'd be Dallas Goedert's like surprise attack or something. Would be the show title for sure. That was fucking great.
Oh my God.
Yes. Wouldn't it be great if he signed with the Commanders though, and it's just Zach Ertz's backup?
Oh, yes.
Oh my God, the Zach Ertz backup. That would be brutal. That would be brutal.
You got anything else?
My cheeks hurt.
Where do we go from here? Like, fuck. We're gonna talk about some of the free agents
boys.
remaining.
There's a show sheet or something, right?
I guess so, but I don't know if I can talk much anymore. So we got Aaron Rodgers, Jameis. We're going to go to the free agents remaining, fellas. The last two guys that we're talking about are kind of shitbags for fantasy anyway. Aaron Rodgers, Jameis Winston, and Russell Wilson are still Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. That's a tough one for my fucking laughing mouth to get out right now.
Here's the thing, though. All of them have fantasy implications because Jameis Winston, wherever he goes, whoop, everybody else.
He visited the Giants.
He's the tide that lifts all boats. Like Jameis Winston is that. I don't give a shit. You look at the years with Tampa Bay. Look at the years with Tampa Bay. Godwin and Evans, both wide receiver ones. Like he did it with Cedric Tillman and Jerry Jeudy. Like he is the tide that lifts all boats. I have no idea how. Like I guess it's because he's childish and like a weirdo that NFL GMs won't give him a shot. Right? This must be it, right? Because
I think it's the pick sixes.
Well, come on now. Look, he had the Cleveland Browns in games. Yes, he lost them spectacularly with pick sixes, but he had them in it with fucking touchdown
throwing
sixes. Throwing dimes. Like, I mean, give your team a chance. You know, I guarantee, I don't know shit, but I bet you every player in that locker room was like, fuck yeah, let's roll with that guy. We'll live with that because at least we're in these games as opposed to what Cleveland was before that, which was pathetic, awful, non-competitive, without a chance.
Put it this way: if Jameis signed with the Colts, we would not give a fuck about Anthony Richardson right now, and we would be stoked about that Colts offense.
I thought about that. All right, let's just forget about Rodgers and Russell Wilson, who are probably going to end up with jobs. At least one of them will. We don't even want to talk about them. What's the funnest?
The NFL missionary sex, you know?
Yeah. What's the funnest outcome from Jameis Winston?
More of an over-the-pants hand
I got
job.
a few ideas.
Great. Let's get Russell Wilson.
Yeah. I got a few ideas for Jameis Winston. One, what if he was on the Saints?
That'd be sick. Chris Olave. What up?
What if he was on the Bucks? That would be awesome.
Yeah. But, exactly. But right
what
now,
if he was on the Browns? That would be great. If he was on the Browns, that'd be great.
Yeah, there's literally, I read an article that said that the Browns are desperate for a quarterback. It's like, You fucking had one, you idiots. Like, look at the Giants and the Steelers are the two interesting spots for Jameis
Oh,
because
the
the
Steelers would be so
Steelers,
sick.
You just got me so excited with the
the
Steelers.
That'd
That's
be
the
so
Steelers,
sick.
best.
dude,
That's the best.
Hmm.
We could
it
get a
can't be
whole
beat.
narrative on Mike Tomlin could fix him. This is great.
The
Yeah.
only
The
guy
one
who
year
kills that
bridge
is Arthur
quarterback.
Smith.
Let
Arthur
them
Smith.
draft a quarterback too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just it writes itself. It's just
Jackson
perfect.
Dart and Jameis Winston in the same quarterback
Yes.
room.
Pickens
Yes.
and DK would fucking die for Jameis.
It would be
Yes.
insane. Yeah.
They would go to,
Yeah.
they don't care about winning. They want those stats, bro.
Yes.
Give them Jameis. Give the people what they want. Give
the
America
people-
what it wants.
Yeah.
Yes, America.
I feel you. I feel you. Okay, so wide receivers, we got Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs, and Keenan Allen, all pretty big names who have a little bit left in the tank, I would say. Deontay Johnson may or may not be a psychopath. Tyler Lockett may or may not be washed. So might be Brandon Cooks. And I got Elijah Moore on here just because I liked him coming out of the draft process. And I think he's young enough to maybe catch on. And if he gets another shot, Candle might just still be a bit of an ember, let's just say. So let's start with the three at the top: Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs, and Keenan Allen. Whose landing spot, Joe, are you the most excited to see?
Sadly, I think it's Keenan Allen.
Hmm.
I think 1 and 2 are like dead and deader.
Hmm.
Diggs coming off an
Yeah.
ACL when we've already seen him sapped of the thing that made him special. He had already been relegated to the slot. Amari Cooper couldn't make it work with Josh Allen.
That was an indictment.
That
Weird.
was an
Yeah.
indictment. He couldn't make it work with Jameis, and they were like, "Hey, we're throwing Jameson. Let's get rid of Amari and have some fun." Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Jerry Judy is all of a sudden a wide receiver one.
Yeah. So
Jerry
I think
Jaggy.
both those guys, even though they're younger than Keenan Allen, their games were much more predicated on athleticism. And the great thing about Keenan Allen is he's the one guy we've said several times the last few weeks. 4.7 is kind of like the cutoff for wide receivers. The one exception is Keenan Allen. When he was 22 or whatever, he ran a 4.71. And we're like, this guy's good, right? I don't care if he's running a 4.8. What dude could still get open. I want to see where Keenan Allen lands. I was actually thinking about him being reunited with the Chargers, but they signed Mike Williams because Lad McConkey can do Keenan Allen things better than he can. So
New England.
Oh, that's
I like
interesting.
that spot, man. A target
I'm most
smoker for
interested in
Drake
Allen.
May. That's such a good spot, Jax. He would insulate that young quarterback so good and probably mentor him so good. I mean, we saw him last year with the Bears. He was borderline wide receiver 1 territory on a points per game basis. And that's part of why I'm so stoked about Rome, is because I think Rome's going to be coming into some of that Keenan Allen role that he had last year. So I think Keenan Allen is still totally capable of commanding targets in an offense. And that Patriots fit is nice. Like, I think, not the sexiest landing spot or anything like that, but they are begging for a target soaker, and he is that. So great takes on that, fellas. Deontay Johnson, what a fucking puzzling story this guy is. Hey, like, what the hell? The guy was like probably a top 20 dynasty wide receiver like 2-3 years ago, maybe
Last off season.
Yeah,
like,
and he's
going
dead
into the season. He was like a buy high. Let's get him.
Crazy. Yeah, he's on that Antonio Brown diet or something like that. So.
Yes, he is.
Interesting. Lockett, Cooks, Elijah Moore. Never know. Not really putting out any feelers in Dynasty right now. Elijah Moore would be interesting.
Not needle movers either. I think the only one that moves the needle will be Stephon Diggs when he does sign, because of the name recognition. I'm not sure that I kind of agree with Joe. I think he probably is cooked to a certain degree, and he is coming off injury. But I think if you are holding Diggs and he signs, that's when you got to trade him immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. And wherever he does sign, rappers, hide your girlfriends, because Stephon Diggs is rolling through.
Yes.
Okay. Top two
this
guys.
Is a fact, Joe. Don't laugh. Joe,
no.
If Stephon Diggs is near your loved ones, they're liable to get the Caucasian.
He's laying rope. He's laying rope for sure.
Yeah. Who would have thought that Adam Thielen would stay relevant longer than Stephon Diggs 3 years ago?
Good point. Shout out to the exciting white. Nick Chubb, J.K. Dobbins, and Gus Edwards are the only 3 running backs that I felt were worth noting. Nick Chubb, who knows? That injury history is long. But I mean,
and brutal.
Yeah,
The
they're all
last one
bad.
was
They're all
brutal.
bad. Yeah, so I don't know. Who knows what happens there? J.K. Dobbins showed a little juice last year. I love the Dobb Goblin myself.
Yeah.
And him kind of coming in and doing that with the Chargers was great. I think that was a perfect storm offense for him to come into. So it'll be interesting to see. Like, what about if the Steelers were to add like a Dobbins with the guys that they have there if they don't get a guy in the draft or something? Because I think Dobbins could sit on the scrap heap for a little while. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Joe.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. I will never, ever give up on Nick Chubb.
Fair. Me neither. Fair. I'm with you.
I'm not done.
I'm with you.
He's not done. Give him another year, put him in a decent landing spot, and let's just see what he's still got left, because he was the best pure runner in the NFL for at least 5 years.
Yep.
Does a third get him?
Huh?
Does a third round pick get him?
In Dynasty, yes.
I think so.
Okay.
I think
Yes,
so.
easily.
I don't think I don't know. I have a lot of Chubb and I won't sell. And
Oh, yeah?
yeah.
Sorry, I
Yes.
can't help it. I'm a child.
Yeah, no, I get it. So I'm never giving up on him. J.K. Dobbins is also we always keep a candle lit for him. I did give up on him, but that was after like the Achilles like 2 years ago, and now I'm like kind of regretting it. But he doesn't have a home. Gus Edwards, we can forget about. But Chubb and Dobbins, I think, could both end up somewhere where they're going to contribute, and I think they both have something left to give to this league.
I think the only problem with all of this is where's the landing spot? Like, you go through the NFL and you're like, no, they already have a running back. They already have 2 running backs, or whatever the case. Like, there's a couple spots without a seat, and
Whoever
Raheem
misses in
Mostert,
the draft. Whoever
Raheem
misses on one in
Mostert.
the draft.
How can you miss? How can you miss?
Yeah.
There's going to be places. There's going to be places. Those guys,
It's just
Chubb and
crazy.
Dobbins, have enough respect. They may not get huge contracts, but if they want to keep giving to this league, the league will keep taking from them.
Put
and
it
they
this
will
way.
produce.
Let me ask you this question. We can go out on this because it's a fun conversation, because I'm going to ask it to Matt Kelly again tomorrow too. Like, what's the best landing spot for a running back? Like, let's just say you love Caleb Johnson. He goes in the 2nd or 3rd round, or any running back, Travion Henderson, whatever. What's the best spot?
It's player
That's hard.
dependent.
There's a
It's
lot.
player dependent. For me,
I'm just saying in a vacuum.
For me, Caleb Johnson, it's the Texans, because
Texans. I agree.
think
This
that
is a very
scheme
good answer.
fits his play style well. I think Nick Chubb would be great for the Texans as well. I think that's why
before
Joe
you
Mixon
go, real quick, you just said the Texans. I agree. It's a great landing spot. They currently have Joe Mixon, is kind of the point, right? It's not like there's no like
The Browns.
the Browns is pretty good. Is it a great landing spot?
Kevin Stefanski has put together some massive rushing offenses before.
Yep.
So I think he could be kind of a decent coach to land with, among not a ton of great spots to land for guys without impediments in their way. So your
It's
point
not a
is definitely
great
taken.
Steelers,
point is
Steelers?
taken.
Yep. Steelers could be okay. I mean, who's their quarterback, right? I guess my point
Raiders.
is, like,
Yeah.
Raiders, of course, is wide open. But the Raiders, okay, there's one, right? So let's say Genty goes there or something. I mean, okay, cross that one off. You know what I mean? The Raiders are an open spot. That's an open one. It's funny, when you start to think about it, you're like, okay, New Orleans has talked about getting Genty. It's like they have Alvin Kamara, they have Kendre Miller for whatever he is. I mean, I'm not saying he's anything, but it's not like, it's just interesting. You go up and down. You start to put your favorite running back. New England. That's like, oh yeah,
That's
New
what I was
England
just saying, the
drafts
Patriots.
Travion Henderson in the 3rd round. They have like Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson. It's not like
fucking good too.
It's not wide open. It's not like, oh yeah, easily they'll just take over. So it's very. This is my topic when we're thinking about like these running backs landing and what's going to happen in year 1 for a lot of these. Bears is good, right? Bears is good. Bears is very good. What's going to happen when because remember the Charbonnet landing spot when we're like waiting for them to land and then Charbonnet just falls right behind Kenneth Walker. We're like, what the fuck is that? Because Charbonnet, if they redraft that thing and he lands like in so many different spots, he could have a totally different career.
RB1.
He could be an RB1. That's my point. Like Charbonnet and like, I don't know, whatever, fucking Quinshon Judkins similar enough prospects. I mean, not that far off from each other. Like, I guess I'm just saying, like, there could be some shit ass landing spots for some of these guys, and there will be some shit ass landing spots. There specifically will be. Yeah, this part is very thrilling to think about, in my opinion.
Couldn't stay away from the rookies, could you? This show, fellas, was a fucking roller coaster, and I had a great time. We started off the show with Joe hijacking hosting duties, putting me in my place, letting me just sit back because I was trying to steer us away from the
You
rookies, and
didn't even see it coming.
I loved it. Yeah, hit me like a fucking train. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. We talked for way too long about Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. We got into the Mac Jones conspiracy in San Francisco.
That's not a conspiracy. That's what happened.
It's reality. That's what's happening. Yep. Talked about AJ Dillon doing a variety of different tush push techniques in Philadelphia, to put it mildly, and a lot of other stuff. So, boys, that was a good fucking night of potting, if you ask me.
Yep.
I hope you felt so as well. I hope the listeners also did. Please subscribe to that YouTube channel. Follow us on social media at The Undroppables. All of the other sweet nothings are going to be in that episode description because we got to ride out of here. I am Trav, for Jax, for Joe. We will see you next week. Peace.